amazing job. I'm going to reward you with the gift of song. You're doing great. There's no one better than you. You are crushing it.
August, you closed such a huge deal. It makes such a big difference. I mean, big money. It made me look phenomenal. Just want you to know your work does not go unnoticed, okay? The leadership team and I got you a little something.
Oh, wow. Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome.
Now that's the car business.
You know, man, you've had a really kick butt last couple of years. And to reward you, I would like to welcome you to the Employee Stock Option Club. Let me explain. We're going to start you out with 500 shares of Phantom Equity. Not worth anything today per se, but as you can see, if you stay for just 6 more years, we're going to give you 1/12 of the company's future earnings. 1/12 of future earnings. 20 years from now, backdated 72 months, of course, at a discount of 40%. As long as you hit at least 85% of your KPIs and objectives over the next consecutive 16 quarters. Pretty awesome, right?
Jeff, I've been watching you around the office, and you've been doing such a great job that, as a token of my appreciation, why don't you go ahead and take Friday off? We do have that white paper that's due on Friday, but you gotta take the day off. Leave your email open though. Might have a few emails for you. You know, bring a couple texts if you need something really urgently. Do you have Slack installed on your phone? You gotta make it the marketing channel for you. You know, Friday's yours. GChat, Snapchat. I may have to slide into your DMs. Skype. Yeah, go ahead and leave all those open. Are you on Friendster still?
Greg, you've been doing a kick butt job lately, man. I just got this chocolate. I mean, I would never put it in my body, but I'm pretty sure you would. You like this kind of stuff, right?
Everyone, I just want to recognize Joey for a phenomenal sales week. Did a great job applying all of the lessons I've taught you. And it's really great to see my hard work pay off.
I just want to let you know you've been doing such an amazing job. I wanted to give you this as a token of my appreciation.
Thank you so much. You really shouldn't have.
Wow.
Wow, Jeff and I looked at a bunch of different videos, and that one to me was kind of the best overall. So welcome to the AutoHub show. Thanks for coming, and thanks for taking the time. And I'm going to play the George one first. George has been on our show a couple times. If you're not familiar with George, he works in a Toyota store in Toronto, and he does these crazy videos. I'm not sure how they let him get away with it. They're great.
George Sandler, Stoville Toyota. I'm going to give away a secret, everybody. I'm going to let the cat in the bag. I'm going to show you my ace out of my sleeve. There it is. Are you ready for this? My special gentleman out in the way west, in the wild, wild west. My man Ian, my man Jeff, the AutoHub show people. These gentlemen are all about the customer experience. They're all about mentors. They're one of my mentors, people. Gentlemen, Ian, Jeff, you're truly one of my mentors. You're mentors to me and hundreds of people across the car business, from the East Coast, the West Coast, the North Pole, the South Pole. I've been on your show all the way from Greece. Gentlemen, you're looking for the best of the best in the car business. You're looking for the best show in the business. The AutoHub show. The man Ian, the man Jeff. One man, one place. George Sandler, Stoville Toyota.
So George did that for us. Special shout out to George. So go ahead, Jeff.
George certainly has a problem with shyness. So we had George on a show where we were talking about just internet presence and videos and stuff, and he's quite special. And first time we had him on, he was actually on his holiday in Greece, so he joined us from the beach and made everybody jealous. So welcome everybody. Thanks for attending. We have we were a good show today. Some good people that a couple people we've had on before, Rob Ruth and Pamela Pearson, and my old friend Gail Rubenstein. Thank you for joining us. A couple of things that we go over first is our rules of engagement. Of course, is that the opinions shared here are those of our guests and don't necessarily reflect our opinions, and therefore puts us off the hook. There we go. We got some books here that people to read. We always make a recommendation. I Like Giving by Brad Formsma, A Revolutionary Approach to Success, Give and Take by Adam Grant, and Radical Kindness by Angela Santomero. I hope I got that one right. I like the accent. So, without further ado, first person I'd like to introduce is Gail Rubenstein, founder and CEO of Retail Resilient in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Gail, if you could briefly introduce yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. Hi, everyone. So my name's Gail, and as Jeff mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of Retail Resilient. We're known in the automotive industry as the most transparent marketing and sales training solution for auto dealers that use social media. So if you use Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, anything social, we train and teach car dealers how to sell more cars and make more money using all social platforms. That is what I do all day at work.
Perfect. And I can tell you this, I know how busy you are because we tried to connect by phone 27 times and got nowhere. So,
but we're here. We're here today.
Exactly, and we're thrilled to have you. Next, we have Pamela Pearson, who's the Director of Internal Operations from Centez Auto Group in Penticton, British Columbia. Pamela, please introduce yourself.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'm Pamela Pearson. Centez Automotive is in the Okanagan Valley. We have 2 stores in Penticton, 3 stores in Kelowna, and 1 store in Vernon. I started as a teacher, went to school for that, then decided I didn't want to do that forever. Made the crazy jump to be a sales consultant at our Mercedes-Benz store. Didn't like that either. Thankfully, the boss saw something in me, and now I do all the things that nobody else wants to do. So it's great job security.
Terrific. Yes, I like that one, but nobody else wants to do. And definitely last but not least is Rob Ruth, president of Bob Ruth Ford in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I have to say, the term mega dealer out here is in the automotive industry is bounced around, but when you got somebody in a town your size and you do the massive volume you do, Rob, thrilled to have you on board. Please introduce yourself.
Thanks, Jeff. So I'm Rob Ruth. I'm a second generation dealer. I've been in the car business my whole entire life. My dad bought the store in 1983, and we actually lived here at the dealership for about 7 years. Started at the bottom, started washing cars, kind of worked my way up into sales management, general manager, and now the president. But we're in actually Dillsburg, Pennsylvania, not Harrisburg, which is a town of about 2,500 people. And we're retailing around 35 to 4,000 cars a year. So that's my story.
Wow.
Well, I have to say that, up here in the Great White North, only the biggest dealers are doing 4,000 cars a year, so it's pretty impressive. And they're traditionally in the major metropolitan areas. So terrific. We've been following you, and the stuff that you do is tremendous. Which is, of course, why everybody's here, because everybody's here knowing on how to thank your teams, and that's the topic today. And without further ado, we have a question for everybody. So 2020. A year that will go down in infamy. It's been pretty unique for everybody. And traditionally, most dealers, they have their own individual way of showing their gratitude to their teams all year, or especially during the holidays, which seems to be the time that everybody likes to give back. And traditionally, they have parties or whatever. So, of course, as we know, most jurisdictions, many more in Canada, are tighter than down in the States. Just kidding. They have regional pandemic orders that affect gatherings. How do you think dealers are going to be handling celebrations the holiday season? Gail, we'll start with you.
Okay, great. So actually, that question was quite interesting because over the weekend, I actually texted and called a couple of my auto dealers. So we work with about 100 auto dealers in the United States and Canada. And a couple of them told me that they were going to throw Zoom parties. So they were going to allow their employees and their families to, get together on Zoom and kind of like have a beverage on the call and celebrate that way. And a couple other dealers that said they were going to thank their teams using the food pantry and send some food to their families for the holidays. I have other dealers that were going to write thank you cards. So I think everyone's, a little bit sad that there's no Christmas parties this year because those are a lot of fun. But I think they're doing their best to try to come up with fun, creative ways to genuinely thank their people. But it's hard because normally there's a huge Christmas party. So that's kind of what I've been hearing from the dealers is kind of food pantry and Zoom parties with games.
Parties with games. Interesting.
With games. Now, I don't know what these games are, but I would like to be invited to these parties on Zoom with games to see what's really going on.
Well, here's the problem though. If you get invited, then they hit you up to supply prizes.
That's true. They might just have their Christmas party on Zoom and then, then we're donating prizes. That's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because so many dealerships, certainly here I can talk about is they'll invite suppliers, but come to our Christmas party. Oh, by the way, please bring gifts.
Yeah.
Moving on. Thank you so much for that. From a multi-line dealership's perspective, Pamela, how about you? What's your take on this?
Well, our company has been kind of known for some epic Christmas parties over the years. We did one that was an Alice in Wonderland themed party and everybody got dressed up as the characters and we had chairs hanging from the ceiling and it was actually pretty spectacular. A couple years ago, we did James Bond. If you look on my LinkedIn, there's a picture of me and my team as the Bond girls and then the boss, Adam Rich, as James Bond. Last year, we did a Great White North party at our ski resort and everybody dressed up in plaid. So for us, we're like extra sad because I spend probably a full year or more planning each year's party, which obviously didn't happen this year. So I've never been this busy in December because you plan all year for the party. This year, last Monday, we decided, okay, we were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with the restrictions. And we decided, okay, we're going to do boxed Christmas lunches for everybody. So like turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes and all of that, gravy. That we were going to put together some sort of gift basket. So last week was one of the busiest weeks of my year. And we have a full week of lunches and gift giving this week. So that's what we're doing. Some of the other dealers, one of the dealers gave away turkeys. So everybody could take a turkey home and cook it for the holidays. And I think a lot of them are working on the virtual platform of trying to do something to keep the teams engaged.
Terrific. Pamela, we certainly, as we discussed with you, we invited you aboard because you spend all year, we follow you on LinkedIn, all year is thanking your teams all the time. And it's very impressive. And it's quite nice to see when a dealer recognizes a lot attendant for their first year in I can't remember, it's a Kia store you have, right?
Penticton Hyundai.
Hyundai, sorry, please forgive me. But in the Hyundai store, who's the person usually at the bottom of the totem pole and they get recognized? That's makes people feel very good. Rob, how about yourself?
We're going to postpone Christmas this year and we're going to do it in April. I mean, honestly, just like Pamela said, we've always had big parties. We've had bands. We rented, a big space at the casino up the street. It's sad. It's just sad because it was at one time a year that everyone kind of let their hair down and we just had a great time. So, I don't want to forget that, but it's almost impossible to do anything like that in this time right now. In the meantime, just like Pam, we're going to do a box lunch here next week, just like a Christmas lunch for each department. I actually thought about it because I have a lot of friends in the restaurant industry that are, they're hurting right now too. So I'm thinking maybe even daily, even each different department, let's just provide some food, let's hang out, let's just talk, let's, spend some time together. But it's a very unique year. It's hard to really say what to do. And I think we're all a little bit confused, but I'd like to postpone it. I'm going to say we're going to have Christmas in April. We're going to have a party. We're going to just kind of celebrate just being at that point in time. And that's what I keep saying.
Yeah, I like that idea about reaching out to restaurants, because boy, restaurants are hurting
Right.
absolutely everywhere. When Ian and I were going over people for the show, we were very careful because there are some out there we know that would come on and say, that's okay, we're doing it anyway, So
I'd like to, but I won't.
yeah. Ian, can you take it from here?
Sure. Even though auto dealers are amongst the biggest charitable givers there are, seeing how we scaled back this year in celebrations and many people are struggling, should dealers as a group increase their giving by redirecting celebration budget to increase giving? What do you think on that, Rob?
Are you asking me, Ian?
I am actually.
Oh, all right. I think that dealers should do what they can. I mean, it's a tough time, and that we just keep facing more restrictions and more things. You don't know what's to come, so it's a very delicate balance right now. I mean, my biggest concern is that I don't want to have to lay people off again. How can we take this time to really learn new skills? Hey, let's provide extra training. Let's be creative here on how we can kind of position ourselves better as things do, as we're adapted, or COVID kind of isn't as much of an issue as it is right now. Let's do those things. We do what we can. Absolutely.
Fantastic. And yeah.
Yeah, I like what Rob said about kind of balance, right? So a lot of our clients, same thing, they had to let a lot of people go this year. So car dealers are super giving. They love to give back into their communities. And I think that a lot of our clients, surprisingly, even with COVID, they still really had a great sales year, actually. It is surprising because you think that their business was scaled back drastically, but a lot of our dealers have year over year increased their sales because of what Rob said. They're finding new strategies, new ways of doing business, becoming more efficient, allowing employees to work from home. I mean, this year alone, I probably myself helped train 10 dealers on how their salespeople can sell and handle lead generation from their home on a Zoom meeting. So I don't know if they need to increase their budget, but I feel like they're still giving back. I feel like car dealers will always give back. It's in their nature. It's just kind of what we do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Emma?
Yes, actually, that's one thing that we are very much involved in. We became involved 9 years ago in the BC Cancer Foundation because the president and his wife got diagnosed with breast cancer. And so when trying to figure out what charity to make our main initiative, we knew that cancer would be something that would affect everybody in some way. And so that's what we've been doing over the past 9 years, donating over $100,000 and lots of volunteer time. I'm actually the chair for the foundation, for the Discovery Luncheon Committee. And so when COVID hit this year, the question did come up, are we going to continue this? Because in March and the beginning of April, like nobody knew what was going on. But we knew that if we were hurting, those types of charities were hurting even more. And so we stayed the course, and thankfully our business, like you guys have said, also did quite well throughout COVID after the first month, and people kind of got back to like knowing that they're still going to have to service their vehicle and that type of thing. And then what we did in addition to that this year is, although we know that this has hit some of the staff particularly hard, some staff, didn't get laid off. They are making the same amount of money, maybe more if they've sold more cars. We have went out and got a couple of 3 families to sponsor this year so that our employees can also give back. So the company has given $10,000 for the BC Cancer Foundation, and then the employees are giving back to these families in gift cards, cash, and other gifts that the families have requested to make some kids a little happier at Christmas. So trying to find ways for the company and those in our staff who are able to be able to give back as well.
That's awesome. You know, I do have to say, Rob, you and Pamela touched on something that's actually bigger than just thank yous. You mentioned layoffs, and what a terrible way to thank people at the end of the year, to say, geez, we got to lay you off again. And the fact that you're so focused on that that's actually that's thanking your teams more than anything else. It's just saying, you know, listen, we're going to do everything we can to avoid layoffs. And, you know, as you said, thankfully, you know, Gail, as you said, that it's actually been a pretty good year for most dealerships. And,
Yeah.
you know, they've, unfortunately, I do know some that did better by selling more with less people, but others, you know, kept their people and after the initial panic, and did very well. Pamela, what are some of the most unique or successful thank you programs you've seen, other than yours, which are pretty neat?
I'm part of an HR group in the Okanagan, and one of the things that somebody else did that I thought was really special is that because you have different departments in any business, and not everybody is, you know, available or in the same place at the same time, especially now, is really trying to find ways to make every person in every department feel special. And the one thing that comes to mind is every Friday afternoon, this company would have, you know, their main 4 people get together, and then they would have a beer and some popcorn or whatever. But there were some people who had to stay on the phones, like their call center portion, that could never participate in that. And you know, how much do you feel left out when you have to stay working and everybody else is having fun? So they made sure to go to those people and say, you know, hey, maybe you can't have a beer right now, but can we get you your favorite snack so that you can at least kind of be part of it while you're still doing your job? So really trying to find ways to include everybody, regardless of what their job is or where they are doing it. Trying to keep everybody engaged.
Terrific. Rob, how about yourself? I'm sure you've seen some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I think, you know, my biggest thing, this is an opportunity this year to make good positive changes. I mean, we had to make changes, so we did. So I think back to our staff, you know, we've cut back hours significantly, okay, and we haven't moved them up. So we've taken that sales, like, let's just talk about your sales department. You know, our guys work from 9 to 6, okay, and they have off one Saturday per month. They have the ability to actually have a life outside of just selling cars. And like Gail said, you know, we've taught them how to work remotely, how to engage with their customers in different ways, that they don't just have to be at the dealership. I think that's huge. And we've changed some compensation plans too, where it's not a survival of the fittest mentality. I mean, we're working more in groups, as teams, where, you know, they can work together, and if things happen, you know, they've got someone that's there to protect them and help them as well. So I think there's different ways that you can give back. And you know, this is definitely one of those years to be very creative and, you know, make the changes that our industry needs.
Terrific. You know, I do have to say that one big thing in the car industry is having a life.
Yeah.
And I can't help but think back to that video we ran, which is the day off one, which just says, hey, great, you can have the day off. Oh, by the way, you really can. Can you make sure your phone's on? Can you do this? And, you know, that 9 to 6 thing, Rob, I have to tell you, I honestly thought would become a huge change in the industry after everybody opened up, because so many people were working that type of time, but too many people have gone back to the 9 to 9, and you better be here for your delivery thing. So that's outstanding. So Gail, now you see all sorts of dealers, so you must have some great, interesting thank you programs that you can mention.
Yeah, I see all kinds of things. Actually, what's interesting is one of the reasons why I left working in a dealership was the 9 to 9, right? So for, I've been in the car business 24 years and I spent the majority of my career working the 9 to 9. And the reason Retail Resilient exists is I wanted to provide employees in the car business another job opportunity that would pay them, decent amount of money, but they could actually work and live a 9 to 5. They could have dinner with their family. It's actually super rewarding to them to be able to go home or, spend some time with their kids or go to their, just be there with their family. One of the things that I did as a sales manager, and I still do this to this day, and I probably will never stop, is I hand write personal cards to all of my employees. I've done it my entire life. So when I was a GSM, I thanked them that way and I made it super personal. If I did provide some type of monetary or financial gain to them at the end of the year, I did it with something that was of value or importance to them. So for example, this girl, Shannon, that works for me, likes to help animals and help with like dog rescue and horse rescue. So I feel like if you make it super personal to that employee, it's very rewarding for them. Whereas like another one of my employees, Brad, he just bought a new house. So I was going to get him a housewarming gift, something that he would want. So I think that personalization or that touch is really helps in terms of thanking someone, because you see, like, they know you see them and they know that you actually care about them because it is such a genuine, personalized thank you. So yeah, I've been kind of actually telling a lot of my car dealers to do more of that type of stuff. And they were like, wow, that's a really good idea. I was like, yeah, it'll help you get to know your employees really well, like what's important to them. And they appreciate it a lot. So
That's outstanding. I love the thank you notes is something we always push salespeople over the years. Oh, send your customers a thank you note, do this and do that. And then, somebody saying, let me do that for my staff is a great thing. Cause a lot of times you can give them $100 and I go, thanks a lot. But
right.
Walking over, shaking their hands or that thank you note, wow, means everything.
Yeah, it takes a long time. I must say it's super time consuming, but it is so worth it when they call you, because when they thank you, they're like, oh my God, thank you for sending that note. Like it meant a lot to me.
And it's funny, just anything little personal you do. I remember doing commission chits for salespeople and, in a particular deal that was really tough to do and they ended up working days on it for a flat. You just put a note on there that says, hey, you worked hard for this, but good for you. Of course, half the time they come back and say, where's my money?
Yeah. Where's my check?
Yeah.
I was just going to add a quick note to Gail's comments there, and good to see you, Gail, but that also
hi, Barry.
works really well for setting targets as well. When you're setting your yearly targets, to get to know your staff, to be able to incentivize them on something that's relevant to them. If you've got somebody who's getting married that year, to be able to say to them, you know what, you got to buy a dress, you got to do this, you got to do that. Why don't I say that, you hit this target, I'll pay this much towards your personal goal, whatever it is. And just people will work so hard if it's a shared goal. And it's just so appreciated when they see somebody of some authority be able to say, you know what, I know you, I get you, and I see your life. And it's not all about you showing up at my dealership every day. It's about a shared goals. It's a really good comment, Gail. And I've used that in the past with some people to set yearly targets with them. And it's just such a shared target. When you share their target, they share yours. And it really, really, really motivates people. So it was a good comment, Gail.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd like to add on that, on the shared goal. It's we call in the Toyota way of thinking the true north, which is the roof of their house. And Rob touched on that, which is essentially the sense of the dealer providing protection. And really, if you're a leader in this industry and not a manager, because manager is a title, you should be able to inspire. And sharing that goals, it just gathers people momentum. And I think from the Christmas perspective, what a leader can do, and I'm writing the thank you cards, as Gail mentioned, to every single dealer that do business with me, is being there to listen. In the Toyota way of thinking, we call going to Gemba, meaning going to work, and just listening to people, listening to what they have to say, and without having an agenda. Just go there. Sometimes it's a beer, sometimes it's having a coffee, sometimes it's just starting a conversation about family, and just make time to every single employee that you have, sit with them and listen. It's very powerful to donate time in a genuine way without any hidden agenda.
That's fantastic. I mean, I see this with Pamela all the time, where almost on a daily basis, she's, thanking members of the team at the different stores. And that kind of leads to the next question, which is, you all recognize as standout leaders and engaging staff. What do you recommend dealers do for thanking teams, not just during the holidays, but all year round? And maybe Pamela, you can start with that, since I see you doing it all the time.
Yeah, one of the things that we really pride ourselves on, and
I think we lost her.
Oh no.
Oh no, we lost her. So let's go ahead, Gail. And then oh no, she's back. Go
Oh,
ahead.
she's back.
Yeah, we lost you.
What the
Go
heck?
ahead.
maybe my Wi-Fi. Oh, it says my connection is unstable. Okay. Let me know if you lose me again.
Go ahead.
This hasn't been the way that we've always done it, but we do really try to figure out where we can improve every single day. That's kind of my motto, is come to work every day and figure out how to do things better. And over the past couple of years, we have an employee, one of my team members, whose main goal or main job is to go around to each of our almost 300 employees throughout the year and just touch base with them. It's not a performance meeting. It's nothing like that. It is just to check in with them, to see how they're doing personally and professionally, whatever that employee wants to share. Sometimes it could be as simple as, I'm freezing at my desk, and then finding a way to make it so that they're not freezing at their desk, or, their monitor needs to be on a riser because their neck is sore or something. Just always trying to find the little things that will make a difference in their life, and then sharing that information with their manager, so that when it is their anniversary or their birthday or just any old day, their leader is more in tune with them. So we have birthday calendar invites in each manager's calendar for every single employee that they have, so that when it's their birthday, they know it. And then for every single employee's anniversary, it is in my calendar, and then I send them an anniversary shout out email and copy their manager on it, so that they're also aware. Ahead of time, I ask the manager to, give me 3 or 4 points about this employee that really makes them special, makes the manager really think about it ahead of time, and then it allows me to be able to go onto social media and shout that person out, not generically, specific to that person. So those are a couple of the things that we do every single day.
You know what else Pamela does?
Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Pamela. It totally amazes me. Every employee that you come across in their dealerships is happy. And they had a flood at one of their dealerships, and Pamela organized it so that they were not disrupted in their daily work, that the office that is needs to be transitioned or worked on, or she made it happen on their day off. I remember being in her office when she was like, no, I just have to fix this. So this person's day off was this day, and that was the day the installer came for the carpet and the new plugs went in and the drywall was done. And she made sure that all of these things happened, and their employees are happy due to all of the back office work that Pamela takes care of. Like, you're amazing.
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you. And wow, you have a very good memory. Thank you for remembering that.
Oh. And they also, another thing that they do is the movie nights you know, they pull the cars in and then they have movies right in the dealership. It was kind of neat. So their employees are really happy.
So nice to hear from you, Pamela.
What a great thing, I have to say, that to make people want to come to work and want to work somewhere. By the way, movie night, I have a recommendation, not politically correct, Suckers.
That movie is funny.
Yes, it's a great training video.
Rob?
So I think we touched on it, but you know, the biggest thing I think as leaders and as, you know, dealerships, we need to be more in tune with our employees, and we've got to figure out, you know, what their goals are, what exactly, you know, why they're working there, what their personal, professional, and financial goals are, and then show them a path within the organization that they can accomplish these things. And I think from a leadership perspective, you know, the more personally engaged we can get, and that's been kind of the, you know, the topic here, you know, that's how, you know, the company's going to win and the employee's going to win, and you can scale that. So that's just a great point. And I think it's not common in our industry in the past. And, you know, as we move forward, we need to really focus on that, you know, that employee experience first, and continue to make our culture better, and, you know, make people want to come to work. And then ultimately they're going to treat your customers that same way. So I think it's really important. That's a great topic that, you know, we could talk forever about.
They also have great word of mouth and bring other great employees to your business.
Exactly. Yes. You want to make people want to work at your organization. Well, they're not going to want to work in your organization if you don't have things that would attract them there. So it's just so important, and we focus on it as much as I can't say as much. You're doing an amazing job. I mean, you've touched on some great ideas that I've even, you know, taken notes here, but you can't do enough of that. I mean, you got to make it a great place to work, and you got to, you know, help them solve their problems, help them reach their goals, help them, you know, advance within the organization. And then more and more people are going to want to be a part of that, and we'll grow and we'll succeed.
These points are tremendous. And, you know, it's something in the industry. I mean, Rob, you know this because you've been in it your whole life, and I've been in it most of mine. Is there used to be a lot of people in dealerships that were 20 years, 25 years, 15 years, and we're starting to see a lot of that going away. And these are the things that are all about getting people to stay, not just because it's a job. People used to stay because, you know, I'm sure you had it, that people stayed because of your dad and stayed because of you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's such a big deal. And they didn't stay because you're that good, which we know you are, but they stayed because you're that connected. And same thing with Pamela, right?
I agree.
Yeah, it's quite the big thing.
Even as you grow, and you got to figure out how. Okay, so we started as a small. I mean, when I got here in 2000, there was 30 employees, and now we have 130, and that's scaling. And how do you not lose that family atmosphere and, you know, that employee engagement? And, you know, I think we just got to continue to develop other people within the organization too. You know, one or two people can't make that culture. You have to have multiple levels of leadership that, which provides different opportunities, you know, maybe from the past. Maybe it doesn't have to be just a general sales manager or general manager. I mean, there's different levels of leadership where, you know, people want to help other people. So the more that we can focus on that, I just think it really changed the culture of our whole industry, and it's so important.
Yeah. One of the things that we try to do as a team here is, if there is, it can't only come from, you know, the one owner or, you know, the one general sales manager or the one service manager. It does really have to be a team approach. And what we really try to do is, when we see somebody in the business who is being a culture leader, even if it is, you know, a technician, a detailer, you know, somebody in accounting that is embodying the culture that we want, we go and recognize them and say, we thank you very much for being a culture leader in our business, and just kind of like shout them out. Even if they're not a manager, they are still being a leader for our company. So really trying to recognize that.
No, for darn sure. And it's quite the thing. And we're starting to recognize again staff. And then there was a period in the industry, it wasn't about taking care of people. It was just about business. And so many people forget that it's the people that make the business, not the bosses. Tiago, you mentioned a leader versus a manager. You can give anybody a title, but who's a real leader?
And Gil, did you have some thoughts on this question?
Yeah, I love what Pamela and Rob talked about. Regarding what Pamela said, how we typically do it is same thing, birthdays and anniversaries. So I always make sure my employees get like this like cool thing on their birthday, whether it's like chocolate covered fruit or flowers, or like, hey, we recognize you, we see you, happy birthday, thank you for working here. It's your day, like we're celebrating them, you know, it's the day of their birth. And what Rob said, I find fascinating because in regards to aligning your goals with the employee, so the reason I have had my personal career success in the auto industry is the man that I worked for sat me down. He owns 22 dealerships in Flemington, New Jersey. And he said, what are your long-term goals? And I said, I want to be an American citizen. I wanted dual citizenship, and I wanted to, and I wanted to work somewhere where I was rewarded. Like I always had a strong work ethic, but I wanted to be rewarded for my hard work. And ultimately, like I literally wanted to be a manager and a citizen of the United States. So the guy I worked for 12 years, aligned his goals with my goals. And I actually became a general sales manager when I was 26 years old. And I eventually ended up obviously leaving the company, but him and I are still really good friends, and he has helped me, I mean, tremendously in my lifetime. So when you provide that opportunity to an employee, the things that they do for your company, like when you align those goals, they want to work harder for you. I mean, I worked my butt off for that guy, and I would have done anything for that company just because he's like, I will sponsor you as a Canadian citizen and I'll help you get your green card. I was like, yes, I can live the American dream for like 10 years. Anyway, I'm still here, but.
You haven't joined the bus to come to Canada yet.
You know what? I'm applying for citizenship this year, and I would love to have dual. I don't want to give up my Canadian citizenship. I really actually want dual, but.
I'm sure Ryan Reynolds can help you with that one.
Yeah.
But it's a good point, Gail, that we don't have enough of that mentor-mentee relationship in our industry that's structured. The odd time we accidentally find somebody that'll help us with our career. But I think the more that that's encouraged and you can mentor people through a growth stage of their career, they naturally will stay because there's a connection, they have a purpose, they see value in their leaders. And I think the more that we can actually say, okay, what I want you to do is for the next 6 months, I want you to mentor this person and let's get them to this point. And as owners and as leaders, we will only benefit by those people and those skill transferences that we put into them. So yeah. I think that's something we don't do enough of, is actually have a structured mentor-mentee relationship in our industry.
Yeah, I had actually, when they moved me from sales into F&I, my mentor, her name was Beth Delaney. I'll never forget her. She's the queen of F&I. She was the best mentor I've ever had. And because of her, I outsold 22 F&I managers in a dealer group. And I won every contest. And but I had the best mentor ever. I mean, that woman invested so much time and energy in helping me. She's like, I just want to see you succeed. And, but yeah, I agree with you, Barry.
But it also feels really good to be a mentor as well, to be able to see the value that the skills you've learned, crawling through the fire for the last 10 years, to be able to transfer those to a younger generation or an older, whatever, that doesn't have to be age specific, but to somebody that doesn't have those skills, to be able to transfer that knowledge and the pride you feel in that. I think it's something that's really important.
Yeah. I'm actually looking to not replace myself, but I'm looking to move someone into my role next year. So it'll be exciting to finally be able to give back and be that mentor and train someone to operate retail resilience, so I can kind of step back a little bit. and do some other, you know, charity work and things I wanted to do. But I'm so excited for that. It's pretty cool.
Well, what's the saying that, you know, we all follow on LinkedIn and you see people post all these cute little sayings, but I guess there's one, and maybe it's Richard Branson, who I love to see all his sayings, which is train your staff so that they can succeed and leave, and treat them well enough that they don't want to.
Yeah.
Terrific. Any other comments from anybody on the recommendations, what people can do, not just during the holidays?
The only other one that I just wanted to comment really quickly is the fact that this is probably the most important time in most of our histories where we really need to stay connected and make sure everybody is informed with proper knowledge so that they don't feel that there's a secret meeting behind some closed doors where we're trying to structure a big departure and they're all walking on glass and on needles and they don't know what's really happening. We need to be as honest and forthright as we can while we're still running a business, and actually let them know that, hey, this is where we are. This is what's really happening, not some rumor mill that's going on in the locker room or in the lunchroom or whatever. I think it's really, really important to keep the staff informed so that they're not looking for their next lily pad. They know they're okay where they are and they're willing to invest the time and the effort to keep growing. Because I think that happened in March too much, where there was a lot of secret meetings and all of a sudden these 15 people didn't show up the next day and nobody knew why. And really they were just trimming the fat and not really paying back to some of the teams. And some dealer groups did a good job and some did an absolutely terrible job communicating.
Well, it's a good point that you made there, Barry, because people are scared right now. They're not just scared about the world and crises, but they're scared about what's going to happen tomorrow. And you know, reaching out, especially right now, not just because it's Christmas, but just because we're at this time, is really important. And if somebody is particularly stressed, whatever, it's not just work related, knowing that there is somebody, a mentor or somebody at their place of work where they can talk to that actually gives a damn. It's quite enlightening. It's very good to hear. Any questions from anybody else out there?
No, I'd just like to add one exercise that I did once I did my MBA that helps to increase creativity. I guess it's simple, actionable item that we can do with everyone. Just ask people once you're doing the one-on-one, what do they wish for? And then what do they offer in counterpart to get that wish? And then what they're going to do to get there. So those three simple questions: what do they wish? What do they offer as a counterpart to get there? And what they're going to do to get there? It can increase their creativity by 300%. So just asking people questions, right? And trying to get to their why. I think Barry, Rob, and other people touched on the why, Gail as well. So ask questions and find out what they want.
Super, thank you. Any final comments from our guests? We're not running out of time, but we're getting down to the end of the show. Gail, Pamela, Rob?
No, I mean, I loved being on. This was great. I enjoyed. Thank you for inviting me. I'm honestly grateful. It's really cool to meet all these people and hear. Sometimes I feel like I'm alone on a river by myself on my Zoom meetings working from home. So it's nice to like chime in with some car people and, you know, hear some great ideas from them.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate you guys inviting me here again. I just think it's a great opportunity right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of, you know, Jeff, you said it, people are scared, but if we can kind of look past that, if we can really take the time and look at ourselves, there's a great opportunity for us to recreate ourselves and, you know, recreate our companies, restructure them, and put us in a different position. You know, people don't like buying cars, and we can change that. I think that we can just change. People don't like working at car dealerships. They don't like buying cars. This is the time where we can change that, and we can really be seen as different. So that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you.
I'm really inspired to also be on this call. I think that in automotive, there's lots of competition with dealers against each other, but I think that we all have something to offer, and you know, we don't need to recreate the wheel. There's lots of ideas out there that other dealers have already done, and so I love having the opportunity of being able to share those best practices and you know, the work that went behind all of the changes that have been made because of COVID, and being able to share those things with other people that might help them in their business and vice versa.
Yeah, and when I talk to dealers every single day, and when I listen to different dealers, different people on the show, what amazes me is that, you know, people aren't using as many of the ideas as there are out there. Sometimes they're like, oh, we must know everything. But I think the reality is there's lots of great ideas. It's just putting those into action and really, you know, speaking out to the people that work for you or work in your neighborhood. You know, it's not really, you know, secret stuff. It's basically like, this is how you can help you grow your business. And I think when everyone changes the way they interact with customers and grow their business, everybody wins. I don't see that the negative in doing that.
For sure. That's some very, very good stuff there. I have to say that Gail's going to be joining us again in the new year. We have a show coming up called WTF Are You Doing With Your Leads? And
I can't wait, because that is literally, we walk into a car deal, well, not walk in, we zoom into the car dealership and we're like, guys, WTF are you doing with your leads? Like, what is going on in your sales process right now? Yeah, it's our bread and butter and the glue of why people love retail resilience.
Can you not find the irony in this, though? We just finished talking about thanking our teams and how important they are, and then we look at them and go, WTF!
Yeah, but we make it fun. We have fun. It's all good.
Oh, I'm darn sure.
The statistics on how many leads are not sold are scary. Very scary.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, we'll get back to business on that in January.
I can't
And next
wait.
show is how to be grateful during the holidays. So I'll just share my screen here. That's next week. And we're gonna have Daniel Tizzino from Learning and Development. He works for CDK, Scott Wayne from the Market Academy, and Joanne Leland from Bright Spots, talking about how to be grateful, which I think is pertinent during the holiday season and at any time, actually. And that's all for me. Any final thoughts from you, Jeff, and anyone else?
Thank you very much for everybody for attending. I do want to touch on our Vendor Speak show on Fridays is morphing come the new year into something a little bit different. Up to this point, it's been one person, like our friends Barry and John, who've spoken for an hour or so and presented their wares. Now we're working on having multiple people on the same show with their items to present. And we'll have 2 to 3 products per show, maybe 4, depending on the people that come. So we'll be reaching out to everybody and letting you know when that is. We intend to have Retail Resilient on board there, right, Gail?
Yeah. I support Jeff. I see you and I support you.
Good. Well, thank you.
The whole idea behind that was really to have, you know, more information for dealers in a shorter period of time, and really to have a really tight presentation with a number of different vendors, so you can get an understanding of a field of products as opposed to just one product, and it's just a better use of time. And that was really the reason we changed the format.
Yeah, and they're getting a really good feedback on people on this, and it's very tough. One thing I always used to tell people that were on Fridays was breathe. If somebody, you know, they would sit there and say, well, I have to tell you something. Our product does this, it does this, and it's really nice and it's really great. And you'd be sitting there and it'd be like a, 15-minute sentence. So that we're looking forward to that. Other than that, anybody, any other comments?
I just want to wish everyone a very peaceful Christmas with all your families. Be seeing my family through FaceTime. They're in Brazil, so I can't see them right now. But yeah, this type of Zoom conference, it's how I'm seeing also my loved ones. So yeah, thanks guys for talking about how to develop this industry and transforming into a more human-to-human environment. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Just want to say, Jeff and Ian, thanks very much for giving all of us the opportunity to chat about this today. This is great stuff, and I'm happy to have been on the show again.
Thanks.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Do remember that we send out a recording of this. It'll be on our website. Each of you will get an edited version of this that you can share yourself or whatever you'd like. As you're thanking your staff, you could say, "See, look at me." No, just kidding. But and then of course Apple Podcasts and on YouTube.
And wherever you get your podcasts, it's on virtually every network. Podcasts take a little bit of time to disseminate, but all the past episodes are already up. A lot of people like the audio version.
Nice.
Now you can listen to us in your car.
Yeah. Have yourself a great week. Thanks
everybody. Good
Yeah.
to see everybody.
Thank you. Have a great Christmas, happy holidays, and all that lovely stuff.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Gail. We'll talk soon. John, as always, Merry Christmas. Ho, 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 ho.
Same to you guys. God bless.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye.